They have a country watching, that's for sure.
Making her 100th appearance today, Hope Solo for the United States. Brilliant game in Dresden. There's the captain, Christy Rampone. 240th appearance for her. And 2 losing semi-finalists. That's what's happened at this stage in the last 2 World Cups. Sadly for the United States, it's all ended in tears. Against Germany, 3-0 in 2003, and against Brazil, 4-0 in 2007. This team, though, might be on a roll, but you do have to respect France. They've been a revelation here, and they've got some very good technical players.
And what a contrast, though. First ever semi-final appearance for France, and it's all the U.S. players talk about is getting through this semi-final.
The pitch will be just about perfect. Slicked up by the rain, it should aid passing football. Before the national anthems, it is FIFA's Anti-Discrimination Day, and both captains will be reading out messages to reinforce that particular message to the world.
All players, coaches, and officials together respect all over the world to say no to any form of discrimination. Let us all listen to the team captain's messages against discrimination. Heute beginnt die Fußballfamilie ihren 10. jährlichen Tag gegen Diskriminierung.
First of all, it will be the French captain, Sabrine Soubeyrand, the oldest player in the tournament.
Au nom de l'équipe nationale de France, je déclare rejeter avec conviction la discrimination exercée pour des raisons de couleur de peau, de sexe, d'origine ethnique, de religion, d'orientation sexuelle ou pour toute autre raison. Le pouvoir du football peut aider à éradiquer de notre sport et de l'ensemble de la société le racisme et la discrimination envers les femmes. C'est pourquoi nous nous engageons à atteindre cet objectif et sollicitons votre aide dans ce combat.
Soubeyrand, who is in fact the Minister of Youth Affairs for Juvisy, where she plays her soccer. Now it's Christy Rampone's turn for the USA.
I declare that we condemn any kind of discrimination in football and appeal to everyone who is watching us today, wherever you are in the world, to help us remove discrimination from our society and integrate everyone into our game. If everyone joins together, we can succeed. Say no to discrimination. Say no to racism.
Now we will have the national anthems. First of all, the stirring Marseillaise of the French. USA bidding to reach the final for the first time since the glory year of 1999. Formalities seem to go on forever, I would imagine, if you're a player at this stage. Let's have a look at the two sides. France's team built around European champion club side Lyon. Watch for forward Marie-Laure Delis, who's hit 23 goals in 24 games. Keeper Sabovic is back from suspension.
And what's interesting here is France has changed their center-back pairing after each game. So another change for them. Mayeru coming in for number 5 for France, and this is possibly an area the United States can exploit because they're clearly not happy with their center-back pairings throughout this tournament.
Yes, that is a bit strange. It makes you wonder if the coach actually knows what his best team is. But they've got this far. Again, say no to racism, reinforcing that message on behalf of FIFA. The two sets of players today. By the way, the referee today, Kirsi Heikkinen, is the same referee who sent off the French goalkeeper Bérangère Sapovic against Germany in a group game. She is a teacher. Let's see if we can hear what happens here when the coin is split. Just about perfect conditions for a game here, really. It's much cooler than it's been, certainly cooler than it was in Dresden. 80 degrees there.
Perfect if you're English.
Blue or yellow? Okay. It's the blue. You can choose this. Can you say that? And you get the ball. Okay.
Well, Christy Rampone called right. Let's hope it continues that way from an American standpoint. There's the lineup. A World Cup debut for Becky Sauerbrunn in central defence because Rachel Buehler is suspended. Keeper Hope Solo makes her 100th appearance and Shannon Box her 150th.
And critical for the United States today is Lauren Cheney on that left side of midfield. Heather O'Reilly having strong games because the French outside backs love to get forward. That will keep them at home and make the defensive job easier for the United States in general.
What a day for Becky Sauerbrunn. She hasn't kicked a ball in the tournament so far, but was very good in 2 of the warm-up games against Japan. And I think Pia Sundhage, the coach, had no hesitation about putting her in and doesn't believe it's any kind of gamble.
What a blessing in disguise that turned out to be, because Christy Rampone had strained a groin in the WPS, and she gets 2 games right before the World Cup.
And of course she plays her club soccer with the captain as well, so that does help. Sauerbrunn flying the flag for St. Louis in the center of that American defense. Just this little problem of whether the American team have had long enough to come down from cloud 9, which is certainly what they were on after the win over Brazil, the impossible win, the back from the brink win. France also won a penalty shootout to reach their first Women's World Cup semi-final. That was against England, and that was pretty impossible as well, it looked, because they were behind in the match till the 88th minute and the shootout with only 2 kicks left, but still prevailed.
And that was at least the encouraging thing for the United States. On 1 day less rest, at least France had to play another emotional match into extra time, into penalty kicks.
These two countries have met 12 times over the years, and France have never won. All they've managed to salvage is 1 drawn match. The United States have won the other 11. Having said that, this is the best French women's team ever by some distance. And here's Le Payeur, the right back who did very well against England, looking to raid down that side. Important for the United States that the defence shows the same improved solidarity that it did against Brazil. Good play there by Carly Lloyd in midfield. Your keys to the match first for the USA then, Julie.
Well, there was a good first look actually at one of them, and that's to find the gaps quickly behind the French outside backs. They like to get forward. You just saw Le Payeur, the right back there, in the attacking third for France, so transitioning into that space because they are aggressive coming forward. And the second one is for the defenders to step into midfield to help with numbers, because France is essentially playing 5 in the middle. And so they're going to have to send a center back and adjust off that most often.
Yeah, there's a danger of the USA just getting outnumbered at times in that engine room area. And that's something they've thought about. Here is Sauerbrunn with her first involvement. Shannon Box covered so much ground against Brazil. Shannon Box, cap number 150, quite a landmark that. A lot of these players were involved in the semi-final and knew the heartbreak 4 years ago against Brazil. Christy Rampone, Shannon Box, Heather O'Reilly, Abby Wambach, all in the starting lineup, and Carly Lloyd was a sub that day as well. They know what it's like to fail at the last hurdle. Here's Sauerbrunn doing the covering, only her 12th cap today. Now, what about France? What do you think they have to do here to cause the upset?
Well, the first thing is to impose their possession style. They are a very technically gifted team, and you can see it already in these first 4 minutes, how they like to play. And the second one is smart decisions by their outside backs. They're very aggressive, as we just said, getting forward offensively, and they're very aggressive defensively, so balancing that a little bit more.
Here's Lapayor, flag's gone up, and the United States will get possession for offside. A little bit careless that by the French, who were rated by the London bookmakers at 26-1 to win this. There's Bruno Bini, the somewhat eccentric French coach who likes to play the movie Dead Poets Society to the players and quotes from the classics as well. Bompastor forward to Tine, and here is Nassib, very elegant player who's really taken the eye. Abili, good covering. Christy Rampone, who was immense in the game against Brazil, I think didn't get much of the publicity, of course, because there were other central characters, but really did a very, very fine job back there.
And she once again has been, and this is the Abby slide to try and keep it in, but Christy Rampone has once again been put on in that left center back spot. So before the first few games of the tournament, she was playing in the right center back spot, and this, I think, improves the U.S. back line because it gives cover with her speed to Amy Lepelbin.
France pressing high up the pitch and succeeding, but then Shannon Box, as she does so often, broke up the play. Can the United States make a move forward here with Cheney? Good little slalom run and pass from her to Amy Rodriguez. Wambach waiting in the middle and Heather O'Reilly arriving. Laura Georges with the challenge. Key defender for France.
And a great run by Lauren Cheney. This is something Pia Sundhage has said she's been working on a lot, is changing her mindset into more of attacking, slashing type of player. And that's a good start for her there.
Here comes the USA corner. Wambach was going for it. Remember, the USA scored after 74 seconds against Brazil.
Yeah, a very fast start to Brazil. And here you can see Abby on that back post, just a little off balance. But she will be the target all day for the United States. And France, of course, knows what she can bring, seeing that last-minute goal against Brazil.
O'Reilly quickly challenged by the excellent Sonia Bompastor, key player. Now this might break in behind here. It spins away from the predatory Abby Wambach, who needs just one goal to equal the American World Cup record of 12 held by Michelle Akers. Nassib, Abeli in a lot of space on the right-hand side. Bit of danger here. See how comfortable a lot of these French players are on the ball. Lyon, the top French club, were the European champions, and Lyon provide the nucleus of this French squad. Nassib does well again. Played in there by Boussalia, and that was Deli. And he's averaging nearly a goal again for France, looking to cash in.
Good positioning by Becky Sauerbrunn. She's on the right side. Must have taken a deflection at the end there because it looked like it came off Deli to my eyes.
The skipper, Souberon, to take the corner kick. Shannon Box got the header away, but it's come straight back out to Souberon. And a bit of space here for Louise Nassib. Corner kick. Hope Solo got something on that.
And a good first test for Hope Solo, and especially with these conditions, players are going to be striking them from outside. Nassib can hit him from there as well.
That one goes a long way. Carly Lloyd looked to get it away. Lepelbet did, but not very far. They're hemmed in at the moment, the United States. France on the front foot early. Cheney plays it in. Hope Solo handles it well. She'll be used to the rain. She's from Richland, Washington.
But that is something I'm sure the players talked about, is with these conditions, it's been misting for quite a few hours now. Launching some of those long-range shots, testing the goalkeeper.
Lovely touch that by Carly Lloyd. For Heather O'Reilly, who's come out to the left-hand side. Beats George, plays it a good ball, and they're ahead! The United States have the lead! Cheney got something on it at the end! What a start again for the USA with their first meaningful attack!
And after weathering 2 corner kicks by France, the U.S. comes back, and a good start to the play by Carly Lloyd. What a nice little back heel. And this is what Heather O'Reilly does best. She takes on, and then a beautiful run by Lauren Cheney just to beat her to that near post. Good run. They always talk about coaches saying someone's got to make that near post run. And all you need is a little deflection. Well done, and a great ball by Heather O'Reilly.
Second goal of the tournament for Lauren Cheney, and this has been a breakout year for her, no doubt about it. That was such a clever, deft little touch, and what a run too from Heather O'Reilly.
And this first half is so important to the United States. As that second half wears on, the fatigue starts to play a bigger factor. So getting an early jump on France is critical today.
And what will that do for the French confidence as well? It's Carly Lloyd from Delran, New Jersey, sent tumbling, another with over 100 caps to her name. Dream start for the USA. Rampone goes a long way. I do wonder about this goalkeeper, Beranger Sapovic. We saw her in the game against Germany, and I thought she was flapping at a few things, including one of the goals.
Yeah, she's been known to drop them, and also France as a team has just been known to be weak defensively on set pieces.
Pia Sundhage, who was telling us yesterday, I asked her, I said, how did you ever get on as a player then against France? She said, I'm glad you asked that. I scored 4 against them. It's my best game ever.
4. Those you don't forget. See, if I had more 4-goal games, I might remember those.
Did you have any 4-goal games?
No. I would have retired if I had a 4-goal game. I would have walked off the field. I'm done.
Pia was a very fine player for Sweden. And it's gone out to play a careless ball. But what a lethal touch from Lauren Cheney, the young lady from Indianapolis who plays for Boston Breakers, got the first goal of the tournament, and now she's got another one in the semi-final as well. Rodriguez looking to make a breakthrough. This one goes France's way. We'd like to welcome all the men and women in uniform stationed around the world watching the game via the American Forces Network, AFN. Thank you very much indeed for being with us, and we do hope you enjoy the game. Too long for Deli.
I heard the troops that were watching in Afghanistan went nuts on the goal, so great that they're watching and supporting.
They weren't the only ones either. Players did have a little celebration with their families in Dresden, and the coach, I thought, made a good point. Told them to enjoy the moment. It was just too much of a high. There was no point imposing a curfew and saying, go to bed, we've got another game coming up Wednesday. They enjoyed it, and then they got their heads around this game.
And I think that's so wise. You have to. You have to celebrate those moments. And then the next day, you say, okay, enough. Now we focus on France. But Pia has such a good read on that kind of stuff.
Soubiran defending it good again from the United States. Carly Lloyd caught in possession. Nessie plays it in towards Cheney. Danger here. And then Ali Krieger getting it away to Heather O'Reilly. Just thinking what a key player Heather O'Reilly's been for the United States down the years. She switched to the left-hand side. A change of pace set up that goal, didn't it? And the delivery.
Yeah, and she loves to just face up and take on, and it's a dimension that's lacking the other wing spot, so it's such a strong presence on the field.
What a ball that is from Lapalvet if O'Reilly can keep it in. And she's quick, but not quite that quick.
Great ball across, though, and you can see if you can find the opposite side quickly, those are the gaps in between those outside backs.
Here's Gaëtan Cheney, who was the top scorer for France in qualifying. She got 11 goals. Tremendous record that, and the number 17 shirt.
And Becky Sauerbrunn on the prior play, Cheney was trying to turn and she just came in and into the midfield and batted it out, and that's what they're going to need. You're seeing Shannon Box and Carly Lloyd battling it out in the midfield, a center back stepping in there to help them with numbers, because those three attacking midfielders for France are excellent world-class players.
Krieger's long ball in towards Wambach. The goalkeeper's come, didn't win it. The net was empty. If Wambach had got that header right, just skidded off the top of her head. But there, Sapovic made a bad error of judgment and got away with it.
And this is where the U.S. can really exploit them on set pieces here.
Lloyd. She's already got one World Cup goal against Colombia, Carly Lloyd, this year. No sign of any hangover from the United States from the heady experiences of Dresden. Dali looked like it caught her hand there. The referee said that was accidental, which looked a fair enough call. The USA keeping up a wonderful record of appearing in every single semi-finals of the Women's World Cup, and this is the 6th edition in the 20-year history of this event. That's more semi-final appearances than all the other three teams put together.
Now, the French come into this World Cup, they had only 4 players who'd ever played in a World Cup. No one had ever scored a World Cup goal.
Lasib here. Gusalia arriving, and now here's Sonia Bompastor. Loves to raid down the left-hand side, the Lyon player.
And France will be playing for a lot of these corner kicks. They've scored 3 of their 8 goals in this tournament from corner kicks. The most of any team in this tournament.
Twice against Germany. Both of them from corners, both headers. So important the USA defend this properly. And that'll do from Carly Lloyd. They've also done a bit of homework there. Lloyd placing herself near the taker for anything low and hard driven.
That driven ball, exactly. You got to glide it over Carly Lloyd to get there.
Good bit of thinking that, and then Wambach, essential at using her height and power to help out the defence.
And great hustle by Amy Rodriguez to get to the ball first, knock it off her, and now the United States has a throw in their own defensive third, rather than defending one. Those little things matter in these games.
Cheney, the goal scorer, back to Amy Lepelbet, Boston Breakers teammate. Our reporter Bob Holtzman, who knows everything that's going on in the American camp, tells us just had a 45-minute training session, but a few meetings as well to go through the tapes and look at what France had to provide.
They actually, the day after the Brazil win, all sat together in a circle and just shared funny stories of what was happening in the game. What were they thinking during penalty kicks? I thought that was a great idea. Again, the idea from Pia Sundhagen to enjoy the moment and then move on.
I think all their email boxes were full. Ali Krieger told me she had 4,000 emails jamming the system after her winning penalty.
Suddenly you have cousins and relatives you've never heard of.
It's great for the players who've been doubted a little bit and they've got some love, but there's a job to do still. That's out of play this time for Camille Abili, one of the players with an American connection. She played for Gold Pride, won a title in American women's soccer, and for LA Sol as well. Here's Nassib. It's offside this time against Dilly. Nice build-up play from France. Whether they're flattering to deceive with it or whether they can turn it into goals, we shall see. They did hammer Canada 4-0.
And here is the offside call. You can see the center back stepping just enough for Dali to be offside, right in line. Good job by Sauerbrunn and Rampone in the middle. And this right side of France coming hard at US's left side. This Camille Abili and Amy Lepelbet matchup will be an interesting one-all match because Lauren Cheney, who plays in front of Lepelbet, loves to get forward. She's more a natural forward and loves to get central, so it leaves Amy isolated a little bit on that left side.
O'Reilly back to Krieger, who's had an impressive tournament so far, but gives that one away. There's Dali chasing. She's the lone striker, really. It's very important from France's point of view that the three playing behind her get close to her and even past her if the attacks are to fulfill their potential.
And that's the challenge with the system they play, the 4-2-3-1. You really need possession and the ball to do that. And the U.S. playing such good possession right now isn't even giving them that opportunity.
Here's Bompastor towards Tine, Busalia and Soubiran in the sitting positions in that midfield. Busalia, who was voted the French Women's Player of the Year recently and scored the 88th minute equaliser against England. Now Wambach. Nice football from France, very fluent, well played by Becky Sauerbrunn, heading it away. Great turn by Abili. Krieger's header away. A lot of good football from France. And although the United States have the lead, it wouldn't be out of your equation at all to imagine that France might grab a goal from somewhere. Don't forget the World Cup from Germany continues today at 2:15 Eastern on ESPN, with Japan taking on Sweden in the other semi-final, available on ESPN3.com as well. Well cut out by Shannon Box, but the United States unable to retain possession that time. When you play France, you might have to accept you won't have the lion's share of possession in some phases of the match.
U.S. doing a good job, though, of getting numbers around the player on the ball, getting pressure on the ball. And every time Dali's getting it, they're clipping at her heels. 2 or 3 are surrounding Tine and Nassib. They're going to be looking for that number 4, Georges, on the back post for France.
She did score with a header against Germany. Now that's one of the United States players is down here in all the argy-bargy that was going on with everybody jockeying for position. Sally Krieger, in fact, so I'm not quite sure what's happened here.
It's the basketball pick, which is a common tactic used in set pieces and on these plays. You can see you often try and get in front.
Nassib to drive it, but straight into the wall. Cheney, who was one of three players, Gaetan Cheney, who posed naked for a German newspaper with the consent of the French Federation in an effort to draw more attention to the French team. It seems to have worked because they got their record TV audience in France for the quarter-final against England. And here's O'Reilly's pace again. In play this time, Mayeru gives away the corner.
Well done by Mayeru there. What happens when France gets so aggressive with their outside backs, they're often left in a three-back, and so she was covering on that left side as a center back. And this would be the perfect opportunity, 23 minutes in, for the United States to hammer one in.
Then they hit France with another one here. Oh, there was a great chance there for Carly Lloyd, and it's gone wide.
Carly getting free in the box, losing her mark, cutting in front. She's done well to get in front of her defender there, but has to get that one on frame, and that's what you're going to see from France. They lose players when they're man marking there in the box on set pieces.
Maybe the French Achilles heel, the defence. The USA always look as if they might have a goal in them. Cheney turning. Sauerbrunn getting in the block. Very steady start from Becky Sauerbrunn. Camille Abili. Take a good shot to beat Hope Solo from out there. Abili did score against Canada, but that was a textbook header.
And here's the Heather O'Reilly cross to Lauren Cheney. What a beautiful touch that was. Just have to redirect it a little bit. You don't need to wind up on that one. Lets it come across her body. Textbook.
Brilliant finish, really, because she was ahead of the near post, so it needed a great deftness of touch, and Cheney provided that. What a tournament she's had, making herself just about an automatic pick, which certainly wasn't the case before the tournament. Here she is in possession again now. Cheney full of confidence, of course, trying to find Rodriguez. Not quite happened for Amy Rodriguez in this tournament. No goals so far, but started every game.
There's the corner kick, and another good opportunity for the United States to try and get something. And when the weather as it is, with it being so wet, just get it on target. Get it in the nets there. Someone can take a deflection.
And the US trying this tactic again of crowding the goalkeeper in the 6-yard box, making life difficult. And Slabovic messed up, really. Krieger nearly got a foot to that. It was a terrible punch by the goalkeeper. The break's on here, though, for France if they're quick enough. Really good play to win back possession. Wambach chasing.
Twice when faced with the decision to come off her line, Sapovic, the goalkeeper for France, has come way out and made some poor decisions. So to continue to test her will be a great opportunity for the United States.
The French goalkeeper playing in her first big tournament since the Under-20 World Cup 8 years ago. She's only won 21 caps, #1 goalkeeper.
Well, the goalkeeper they thought they were going to bring is the goalkeeper for Lyon, Sarah Bouhadi, and Coach Bruno Bini said she doesn't fit in team chemistry-wise. So probably their best keeper, but felt it was more important to keep a solid group together.
Big decision. Let's see if it pays off here. Lloyd, and a clever little ball. Nicely worked that between her and Wambach. Lloyd's made a bright start here. France winning it back well through Soubiran. And there's something on here. 3 against 4 from long range. Busalia. It was dipping. Not the easiest one for Hope Solo.
All these midfielders from France love the strike from long range, and they will today with the wetness. But against a goalkeeper of Hope Solo's stature, she's not going to let something from that distance go in.
100th cap. And how many shutouts do you think along the way for Hope Solo?
55 maybe?
Oh, well done.
I passed the first
You've been
quiz.
burning the midnight oil on the homework as well.
That was just a random guess.
And only 6 defeats in the previous
I
99
know, that's
games.
remarkable.
It is.
6 defeats.
It really is. And clearly brought along our own personal fan club to Mönchengladbach. Abeli. Subiran feeds it wide. Here's Sonia Bompastor. Space here for Abeli, and danger, got a shot away. Not enough pace or direction, but that was an opportunity for France.
One of the best left backs in the world, Bompastor, was the one who served that ball. So good at getting forward.
Here's Sauerbrunn. He made her debut 3 years ago, then rather fell out of the mix, but certainly back over the last year or so. Good idea by Le Palvet. Wambach was never going to get there. A little bit of a mistake though by Laura Georges, and Wambach there has done ever so well. Cut the ball back. Bompastor, very good timing with the header to beat Heather O'Reilly. And here's O'Reilly again. Nearly fell for the predatory Cheney once more. There's power and belief about the United States side. I think the French coach was worried going into the tournament about how his side might cope against the stronger sides. And that's a great ball from the seed to Tina. He's got a chance to equalise here and fails to take it. Solo again.
And this is the seam the United States was worried about. Nassib finding the seam in between the midfield and the back line, and what a save by Hope Solo.
Here's the cross coming in towards Deli. Wambach defending. France pushing hard. Bompastor's shot balloons into the air. Back to Nassib, who set it all up with a great pass. And again, Hope Solo fields it. But France do look dangerous in cameos here.
Here's the Nassib shot from out wide, and again, good to get her whole body behind it because of the wet surface. Hope Solo just saying, calm down, it's okay. Probably saying that to herself. But what a good save, because she went to come get it and then stopped and retreated a little bit, so she was kind of caught.
Wambach with a little flick on towards Amy Rodriguez, who uses it well. Now O'Reilly. Good argument here. Semi-finals of the Women's World Cup are in Mönchengladbach, on the west side of the Rhine, not far from Dusseldorf, the home of a very famous European club, Borussia Mönchengladbach, who were finalists in the European Cup way back in 1977 when they were beaten by Liverpool.
France has 10 shots to USA's 3. Many of France's have come from outside the box, but you can see the danger of their front 4.
Remember, if necessary, this game would have to be decided with extra time if the scores are level after 90 minutes. And moving on, possibly even a penalty shootout again. Not sure whether our nerves can take that.
I don't know if my blood pressure's come down yet.
Bompastor. Free kick to France.
And this is the left back again for France, getting forward. She's often in the attacking third. Ali Krieger coming in a little bit late. Gets her good call by the referee.
Good player, Bompastor. She played in Washington, didn't she? Another Nassib again. And France suggesting that an equaliser is far from beyond them. Bompastor! Oh, how unlucky is that? Hit the angle of post and bar.
She is such an attacking presence. Mind you, this is their left back. Coming in, striking it about as good as you can. And this is where, as a goalkeeper, you just kiss that crossbar and that post.
Somebody up there liked the USA then. Tremendous effort from Bompastor. Here's Cheney for the USA. Lloyd under pressure from the quick feet of Cheney, and Cheney can bring this away quickly now with Nassib. Very good defending. But France looking more than useful here. One goal may not be enough for the USA to prevail.
And what a good job by Becky Sauerbrunn as a center back, because she just kept retreating. And then Christy Rampone as the two center backs, they stood them up and were able to step. Good decision making.
Look at the possession there. France have had more of the ball, but it's what you do with that possession. And the USA so far clinically took their chance. Another game to look forward to is the third place match on Saturday, 11 a.m. The winners of this game against the losers of the other semi-final. The two losers meeting, I should say, ESPN3.com. And we sincerely hope the United States do not feature in that particular game. But this one is very much up for grabs. It's an intriguing match.
And here's the real challenge for the United States, because Carly Lloyd, number 10 here, and Shannon Box are outnumbered in that midfield, so they're trying to come in and put some pressure on ball. And you can see Lloyd coming in late, gets Busalia there for the foul, but constantly chasing, you feel like, in that midfield.
Nassib, who's really taking the eye to Cheney, who had that excellent chance denied by Hope Solo. Again, they've worked it well with Bompastor. This is the player who just hit the bar. France used to be regarded as disappointments, some would say pushovers in women's soccer, but I think that's all changing now. And they're certainly to some extent making up for the terrible behaviour really of their men's side in South Africa. The French men's side went home in disgrace last year. Several of the players ended up with bans as a result. Refused to train on one occasion.
Oh, I know, it was awful. It was awful to watch that unfold. They would like to be remembered like their '98 side that won the World Cup. Although, interestingly enough, when asked about that, Bruno Bini said, "We're writing our own book. We have yet to finish it, but we'd like to set our own legacy."
Lloyd's long angle ball is excellent towards Amy Rodriguez. Just unable to retain possession, surrounded by a posse of French defenders. Allez les Bleus is the chant from the French fans here. It's another fine ball. Louisa Nassib again, a player who, according to the coach, brings sunshine and a glow to their football. And this time over the bar by Abeille again.
And the French doing a good job of dictating their style. They're playing around the United States. But again, against a goalkeeper like a Hope Solo, you got to get your shots in from more than 20, 25 yards out.
I was going to say, I think the United States and Pia Sundhage would take that. France shooting from range against one of the best goalkeepers in the world. And despite France rather dominating the possession, you always get the impression the USA too may have another goal in them here. It really is intriguingly poised.
Here is Nacy, again, number 14. They call her the alchemist, because she turns everything into gold.
Look at Rampone here. The captain storming forward from defence. Rodriguez has come to the near post, and there's Abby Wambach! Oh, big opportunity, and he stays out. That could have been two. Again, the goalkeeper was nowhere.
What a brilliant run forward, though. You rarely see Christy Rampone as a center back launch like that. Oh, that would have been fitting to get an assist on that one.
She normally needs an oxygen mask for crossing the halfway line, Christy Rampone.
She used to be a forward, though, you know. She's used to being in front of that goal.
Long time ago, though. It was a heck of a run. Brought back a few memories for her as well, I think. Sarban up to Cheney. It was a little push, I think, by Bompastor on Cheney there. Yeah, the referee's spotted that. And gets a mouthful from Bompastor, who's one of the noisiest players on the pitch now. Then here's the Wambach header.
And here it is across. She's trying to get it right back on frame. Oh, goodness. Another one that just kisses the crossbar. And that is sometimes the craziness of soccer. After France has been pressing, if the U.S. could have put that in against the momentum.
Lapelbet. Fox let it run and kept it in play. And did well, and put in a decent cross. And there was nearly another for the United States there. Wambach closing in. Goalkeeper down on the ground. Might be Bompastor who's down there as well, certainly another of the French defenders.
And here's the defensive center mid on the flanks. What a great ball this is, because it's going to skip in front of the keeper. So hard to deal with. And Abby Wambach making such a good run to the near post. What a good defensive play by Bompastor there.
How close was that from Abby Wambach? It is Bompastor who's down and will receive lengthy treatment. Just thinking the two players who combine there, Shannon Box and Abby Wambach, have lost in 2 successive World Cup semi-finals. They'll want to put that right here. Third would be agony, wouldn't it?
Always good to see when a player's getting up, holding her ribs. I'm sure that one took the wind out of her. But what a great defensive play by Bompastor. We're seeing her on both sides of the ball, just so good. Not surprising to fans who have been watching or had watched her in the WPS for many years.
Another of the French players with an American connection, apart from Bompastor and Abeille, is Laura Georges, who was at Boston College and was an award-winning defender. And Nassib, in fact, had the chance to go to Washington, but didn't take the opportunity in the end. And she's WPS's loss, I would suggest. She's a very, very fine player.
Often compared to Zinedine Zidane in France because of her Algerian and Marseille roots and flash.
That's a lot to live up to as well. High work rate. The USA certainly looking one of the fittest teams in this tournament. It served them well. Went down to 10 men for best part of an hour in that Brazil game.
They are probably the fittest U.S. team I've ever seen. In fact, Don Scott, their fitness coach, has done a wonderful job with them.
Abili again, nominated for World Player of the Year last year. Camille Abili, the number 10. It's going to be a corner kick to France late in the first half here. And at half-time, we shall, of course, analyse everything that's gone on here in Mönchengladbach. And we'll have a preview of the Open Golf Championship live conversation from the course with Mike Tirico. Corner to France. Poor one. The time's flown by in this first half.
It has. It's been back and forth. You love to see that. U.S. would love to go in at halftime up 2-0. Because again, that fatigue of playing 122 minutes and almost for an hour down a player will come into play in that second half.
Free kick to France. It's going to take maximum concentration and organisation right the way through, you sense, for the United States here against a side who have inventive touches about them.
You can hear Hope Solo pulling Amy Rodriguez back into the wall. She wants Carly Lloyd to step back and man mark.
Soubiran, long, straight, not a problem for Hope Solo. USA ahead from the 9th minute. Lauren Cheney's well-taken goal. But all the signs are that it might be hard work retaining that lead. Sarbon's first mistake. Fed wide by Nassib to Abili, back to Nassib again. And how well does Carly Lloyd do there?
Great defending to cut that out by Carly Lloyd.
The USA, the back from the brink team, beaten by Mexico in qualification and had to come through a playoff even to get to the finals. That was a bit of a heart stopper. And then all the experience with Brazil when it took a 122nd minute equaliser, the latest goal in World Cup history, to salvage the match. Now, Abili again. I have to say, France have been very good, but offside, frustratingly for them.
Their front attacking three midfielders, Nassib, number 14, Abili, who you just saw, they're so good on the ball, even when 2-3 defenders are flying at them.
Does mean that Shannon Box and Carly Lloyd might need some help in there. A crucial area of the pitch. Looked like a foul by Lloyd, but France have possession anyway. Cheney feeds it wide to Bompastor. France will regard themselves as unlucky to be behind, I think, at half-time. Though, looking at it from the other way, it might have been more. A couple of big chances for the USA that didn't go in.
Two great ones with Abby Wambach.
Great football from France. Very good slick build-up play, but again the concentration is good. With the USA getting a lot of players back behind the ball, closing down the space, and they're just finding it hard to get that final breakthrough ball right, France.
And I credit the U.S. back line for that, because they're dropping, they're keeping them in front of them, they're not giving them that space in behind. Contrast that from what we saw against Sweden, where they were getting in left and right, playing too high a back line. I think they've fixed that and solved that much better in the last two games now.
Yeah, that was a problem. Not only in that game, but I thought earlier in the tournament as well, particularly against Colombia even, where they had a few one-on-ones with Hope Solo because balls were just played in behind a high defence.
Good pressure by Abby Wambach, because knowing Sapovic isn't great with her feet, she's going to put some pressure on her. Winning a high throw in here.
Cheney. Nice ball. And that's half-time. United States go in with a half-time lead. Never lost in the World Cup when leading at half-time, and hope that continues. Lauren Cheney with the goal after 9 minutes. So far, so good. USA are 1 up. Back to Bob Lee.
Thank you, Ian. United States, they've not had a shot on goal since scoring that goal. France, they've scored 8 goals in this World Cup. 7 of them have come in the second half, and they own the better of shots, 13-5 at the half. When we come back, we're heading across the channel. Mike Tirico's at the Open Championship in Sandwich, where U.S. Open champion Rory McIlroy and Phil Mickelson and all the world's best ready to take on Royal St. George on Thursday morning on ESPN. We'll talk with Mike at the Open Championship after this.